And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing.
Oh, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2" like before.
Terence Crawford been amazing with everything that he's done. So
Floyd Mayweather issues a bold warning to Canelo Alvarez after training with Terence Crawford. He claims Canelo is easy work and reminds fans he beat him at nearly 40 years old. Floyd criticizes the constant disrespect toward American fighters, saying people act like Canelo is unbeatable, but in reality, he's not as dangerous as hyped.
You can take a guy like Canelo, this guy can do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Jeff Mayweather sees Terence Crawford as a once-in-a-generation fighter, one with the rare ability to climb divisions and still dominate. According to Jeff, not many can move up and challenge someone like Canelo Alvarez, but Crawford can. He believes Crawford's style, discipline, and ring IQ put him on another level entirely. In his view, Canelo may be powerful and experienced, but Crawford is the more complete fighter, technically and mentally. Jeff doesn't just see Crawford surviving, he sees him outclassing Canelo.
All right, Jeff, looks like we got a fight coming up in the fall here between Terence Crawford and Canelo. Fight that's been talked about a long time. Initial thoughts on the potential of this fight?
Great fight, two great fighters. I think that moving up 2 weight classes is kind of tough, but if anybody can do it, I think it would be Terence Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win, and take advantage of Canelo's mistakes.
Shannon Briggs shares a personal perspective, having observed Crawford since childhood. He says, watching Terence prepare for a mega fight like this is emotional, and he truly believes Crawford will not only win, but stop Canelo. Briggs speaks from experience, recognizing how sharp Crawford's focus is and how far he has come. To him, this fight is not just a big moment. It's the culmination of a long journey that will end with a statement victory.
Did you make of all the pushing, the shoving, the build-up, the anticipation, the weight differences too?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I got Crawford by stoppage, and I've known him since he was a little kid, 12 years old. So to see him now fighting for a title in such a big fight, it's a great experience, great to see.
Last question for me then, how do you think Crawford stops him? How do you think he's able to work Canelo enough for him to stop the fight, knock him down? How do you think this is possible by Crawford style?
He gonna box him. He can fight both ways. He gonna trick him up. One thing Canelo showed is that he can be outboxed. But I think this time in the late rounds, I think Crawford gonna have something for him.
Shannon, always good to see you, my friend.
You're the best, champ. Let's go, champ.
Al Bernstein offers a more analytical breakdown, pointing out that Crawford's move up in weight isn't as daunting as it might seem. He observes that Canelo is no longer the same explosive force he was half a decade ago. Wear and tear, tactical shifts, and age have slightly dulled the edge Canelo once had. Bernstein feels that the current version of Canelo is beatable, and a disciplined technician like Crawford might be the one to prove it.
Great for Crawford to go up to. He started below 147, obviously, as a fighter, so he's going pretty far up in weight. Now, Canelo himself was a 154-pounder, so, he went all the way up to 168, but there's a little difference there. And I think that that's a big issue. Now, whether that's enough to make it impossible for Crawford to win this fight, that remains to be seen. This is a different Canelo Alvarez. It's not the same one from 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, or even 3. So there's that. And then there's all the different eccentricities of each boxer. For Crawford, he's not going to hurt Canelo. But almost nobody hurts Canelo. He's got a rock chin. But can Crawford, who isn't always a volume puncher, make sure that if he's being the boxer puncher, he throws enough punches to win every round? Right. That's important. Right. And for Canelo, if he doesn't hurt Terence Crawford, which he might, can he sustain in those later rounds where we've seen Canelo Alvarez from time to time just fade a little bit? Yep. Crawford's a very good fighter into the later rounds. We saw him stop Porter, and we've seen him have other excellent performances. So, there's a lot of those questions swirling around. But right now, I don't know if I could pick either guy, really. I would have said Canelo Alvarez before.
Crawford's style is rooted in finesse, precision, and adaptability. Whether he fights orthodox or southpaw, his control of distance and timing remains unmatched. He breaks opponents down methodically, capitalizing on their habits and errors. Against someone like Canelo, whose power and timing are lethal, Crawford's ability to avoid unnecessary exchanges and dictate pace becomes his greatest weapon. He's not just skilled, he's cerebral.
Whose style is based around being the bigger guy, being the stronger guy. But Crawford is a very cerebral, very technical boxer, and I think that's why I'd never really considered this before. But also, I didn't actually realize until I sat down properly and thought about this, just how much weight Crawford has been piling on when he gets into the ring after the weigh-in. And look, these are not numbers that are out of the ordinary, but he's obviously cutting himself down so much in camp from whatever his walking around weight is. And it must be muscle that he's taking off. And perhaps that's why he's only fighting once a year, because there will be some fat, of course there will be, but the dude is not overweight. The dude still looks pretty ripped from what I've seen when he's not in training camp. However, there's not that many photos of him with his top off when he's not actually in training camp. So it's really hard to tell what his body composition is when he's walking around at these big weights. But the fact is, his fight night weight was 169 let's just call it 170 pounds.
The jump from 147 to 168 pounds is significant, but Crawford has approached it with strategic intent. While there's debate about whether it's a 2 or 3 division leap, the fact remains that no fighter has attempted to become undisputed in 3 separate classes. Crawford aims to make history, and his physical transformation shows he's not just adding weight, he's preparing his body for peak performance. His conditioning remains elite, proving he's not simply bulking up, he's leveling up.
69 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge, absolutely huge for a 154 pounder. Especially, it's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight. He's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around at 186 pounds. Which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight. I've tried to find photos of Crawford from around that time, and I can't really dig anything out to show you what he was looking like at that weight. But that's pretty big. And there was a bit of a joke in the Piers Morgan interview I noticed and I clocked where Piers asked him what he was weighing right now. He said, I weigh 155 pounds. And I just thought to myself, there's absolutely no chance. Why would he bulk up and then in the space of just over 4 months cut the best part of 31 pounds? Like, that makes no sense. So he was definitely joking about that, just like he was joking about only earning 10 million for this fight. So when he fights Canelo, he's going to be at the super middleweight limit, which is 168 pounds. So when you look at that, you sort of go, okay, that's an 18-pound weight cut, which is not bad at all. But 186 is his walking around weight. So what will his weight be that he actually cuts from to make 168?
David Benvedis has never been shy with his words, and his accusation against Canelo regarding possible steroid use has reignited controversy. He insists that there's no question in his mind about it, casting a shadow over Canelo's physical dominance. While unproven, such claims feed into existing skepticism about Canelo's conditioning and performances, particularly as he ages and faces naturally lighter, but technically superior fighters like Crawford.
100% confident in himself. I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya call him out.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? All those fucking dudes in that camp are doing.
In the build-up, Crawford's demeanor has been intense. During the face-off, he physically pushed Canelo, a clear signal that he's not intimidated by the bigger name or the heavier fighter. This moment, according to analysts like Showbiz, the adult, revealed a fiercer, more aggressive side of Crawford. He isn't just stepping up in weight, he's stepping up in mindset. He wants to dominate mentally before the bell even rings.
And Canelo uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage, and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments below. We in the zone, war room.
Antonio Tarver emphasizes that weight alone won't dictate this outcome. He downplays the idea that Canelo is some massive obstacle in terms of size, noting that skills will carry more weight than pounds. According to Tarver, if the hungry and sharp Canelo that beat Caleb Plant shows up, he might stand a chance. But if the slower, more methodical version appears, then Terence will exploit those gaps and take over.
About this before, you know, Crawford and Canelo.
Bud County.
You know, you're a fighter who's moved up right in weight and won fights. Like, so what is it that, like, what questions in your mind as the smaller fighter moving up and in the ring are you trying to ask yourself in the ring? Like, what questions are you kind of like?
No, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2", like Bivol or one of those guys. So on fight night, the size is not going to be the main thing, the most important thing. It's going to be skill set. And both of them coming with their skill set. But what I haven't seen lately is the opponents that Canelo is facing. Those guys aren't going to get him ready for a guy like Crawford. So Canelo is going to have to go back to that grind, turn back the hands of times too. Because if he show up like he did against Skull, he show up like he did against Berlanga, and the other guy. What's the other guy name? Munguia. Bro, those guys, he didn't have enough activity. The last time I saw Canelo that would beat, I think, this Crawford was Plant. Now, that Canelo come cutting the ring off, throwing combination to the head and to the body, active. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? And I still think I give Crawford a chance even then. So that's what type of talent I think Crawford is. He's definitely going to have to get used to that.
Marcus Brown dismisses any notion that Crawford is concerned about Canelo's power. He reveals that Crawford routinely spars with larger opponents, boxers with heavyweight frames, so handling bigger shots isn't unfamiliar to him. Brown says Crawford is not just prepared for power, he's comfortable with it. That kind of sparring experience makes a difference. And Brown believes it'll show in the ring when Crawford stays composed under fire.
Both of them, I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm going with Crawford. You know, typically fighters, you know, they don't want to say who they want to go for because, you know, they don't want to be biased. Yeah. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. Is that something that's going to play in the back of his head? Like,
of course,
gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not, because at the end of the day, it's not like he just been in there, got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? It's that boxing IQ, which, you know, William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy you know, in a space where he's confused.
Yeah.
And he can't touch the target that's in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think Bud got that IQ.
Jose Benavidez offers simple yet impactful praise. Terence Crawford is a beast. From one fighter to another, that's high recognition. Despite any personal history or competition, Benavidez sees Crawford as the superior warrior in this matchup. He's confident in Crawford's ability to rise to the challenge and leave no doubt about who the better fighter is. There remains concern among some fans and analysts about Crawford's ability to take Canelo's power. After all, Canelo's knockouts against heavy hitters like Edgar Berlanga are evidence of his dangerous fists. The fear is that once those punches land, Crawford, no matter how skilled, might crumble. These doubts, while speculative, create suspense. It's a classic test. Precision versus power, timing versus toughness.
First of all, he got to go in there and he just got to fight him. You know what I'm saying? He got to go in there. I think Crawford just got to go in there and do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? He got to just beat Crawford, you know, show his IQ, show him why he's a two-time undisputed, you know, world champion, and go in there with confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. You know, there's a big weight difference, a big weight jump. You know, that could be a difference in the fight. You know, because obviously, you know, it's like me jumping up to heavyweight. Obviously, I'm a foot of power. I'm a foot of that size difference, you know, compared to my other fights. So I just think that he got to go in there and just be himself. And I said, if he loses, you know, we'll just all know that, hey, you know, he just jumped up 2 weight classes to be great. You know what I'm saying? It's not, he can't really, he's testing himself. He's testing himself a great fighter. So, and I don't doubt him, you know, I don't got no doubt in my mind. You know, he's a 2-time undisputed world champion for a reason. So, you know, and I don't think none's going to phase him in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the power, maybe the size, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Canelo, he's not knocking Canelo out. So he just got to go in there, just IQ.
Would you lean towards Canelo still in that fight?
I got faith in him. I think Crawford could do it. You know what I'm saying? I think he could do it. Just like I said, just the size. The only shit that throws the fight off is the size and, you know, obviously the power. And Canelo's IQ too, because Canelo got IQ, you know what I'm saying? And Canelo fought a lot much bigger guys, you know. So I know the Crawford's power ain't gonna phase him. I know Crawford's size ain't gonna phase him either, you know what I'm saying? So, but for me, I think it's a 50-50.
Another criticism leveled at Crawford is that he lacks elite names on his resume. Canelo himself questioned who Crawford has beaten at the top tier. Crawford's response? You was concise but telling. In his mind, Canelo will be the first elite challenge, and that's by design. Crawford has patiently built his record and is now aiming for the ultimate proving ground. This isn't just a fight for belts. It's a battle for legacy.
This is why people are disliking Canelo. He's a 2-time undisputed champ, and people are quick to say he doesn't want to fight people. He's ducking people. He's only fighting easy fighters. That's the reason why he keeps winning. Well, let's look at his resume. 23-0, 22-0, 43-0, 35-1, 32-5, 42-1, 19-0, 21-0, 30-0. If these people were so easy, haven't they lost prior to fighting Canelo? When Canelo asked him, who have you fought? Crawford couldn't even name one person that was a great fighter. So why don't fans say that about Crawford? The truth is that when someone wins too much and they keep winning over and over again, that's when people want to see you lose. Why do you think they always bring up the Bivol fight? Do you realize that he moved up in weight to light heavyweight to fight their best champion? Canelo's fighting easy people. Well, it's different when you make it look easy. Canelo has been fighting all these people, and when he wins, he makes it look easy. And people are quick to judge and say, well, he's only fighting easy fighters. But you're not seeing him train. You don't know how many hours he's investing into his training daily. It's easy for you to say outside the ring. Do you realize before he became undisputed, every single person he had to beat had a world title? They had a title for a reason. So he was picking and choosing, I need to fight this champion and beat them all. But what are your honest thoughts? Do you truly believe Crawford has what it takes to finally dethrone Canelo? But don't forget to follow for more news and finance information. God bless.
Veteran broadcaster Jim Gray offers a balanced view. He acknowledges Crawford's excellence across the board, highlighting his undefeated record and dominance in every division he's touched. At the same time, he pays respect to Canelo's legacy as Mexico's greatest current fighter. For Gray, this is a true 50 bout, one where both men's greatness will be put to the ultimate test.
Canelo and Crawford, who do you expect to be just a little greater on September 13th?
You know, it's so hard to tell, but the bigger man, I mean, I don't want to get hit by Canelo ever. And when you've weighed so much less, I mean, I don't know what Terence will come into the ring, but you know, he's coming up in weight significantly, and, you know, that seems to me would favor Canelo. By the other token, Terence Crawford's been amazing with everything that he's done. So I can't pick a winner. If I did that, I'd just run into the casino right now and bet and wouldn't even look at the fight and then just go cash my ticket. But I don't know. When you start predicting these things, nobody knows. And anybody who tells you they know, they're just BSing you.
Do you consider Canelo even a little greater than Chavez, who you interviewed and covered?
I do.
Why is that?
It's harder to win now.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next.